All right, guys. Me and Melissa are here with Lauren and Ryan, the hosts of season 2 of Survivor. Uh, Russell Hantz against the Survivor Specialist, which is a great season. So we were just gonna talk to them, ask them a couple questions, and kind of like a little season wrap up. So I guess to get started, just kind of putting it out there to both of you guys. All in all, how do you think the season went?
Man, I'll go first, Lauren. I thought it was good. It's our second season with TRHS. I thought it was a great season. Everybody came to play. I thought it was different than the first season, right? I'm not going to say it was better or worse. That's for everybody else to decide. People that weren't involved in both, but I thought it was different. You know, the first season seemed more Patreon versus Patreon group, and this season probably a lot to do with the twist we did at the beginning. It was a lot more individual, which brought different gameplay, and it was good. I thought everybody, it was a good season overall.
Yeah, as Ryan was saying, it definitely was a lot different because in the first season, I just don't think all of us knew exactly what we were getting ourselves into. We really didn't know how confessionals worked and how to navigate necessarily in terms of that end. And I feel as though people that came on to season 2 that watched season 1 were able to see, okay, this is how confessionals work. This is how I should articulate my gameplay and everything. I will say I think season 2 was much more cutthroat than season 1 because there was more people playing the season for themselves versus the Patreon group.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, I was a part of season 1 and just a spectator for season 2. I think, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 people, it seemed like everybody was there to play, and that's just maybe because a couple of people had some bad breaks or something. But as far as what you guys touched on, I think with our exit interviews last year with Russell, he asked the question probably every time. Did you guys know what you were getting into, like the time commitment, the amount of time? So if anybody from season 2 watched that, they knew kind of what they were in store for. So I think that way they were a little bit more prepared, in that regard. What'd you think of the season, Melissa?
I thought it was an interesting season. I thought it was much more social than it was strategic, but that was just from the outside coming in. So on that, I want to ask, what kind of strategy did we miss? Did you guys get to see a lot more of the inside of what was going on, or?
Lauren, you're gonna have to take this one.
So I do think there were a lot of key social players in this game. I mean, you look at someone such as Carrie. She was extremely social. She was able to create many bonds and connections with people. Rob was also someone that was very social. He had people that easily gravitated towards him, and he was very, very likable. Yes, he made it to the end and didn't win, but he also didn't have anyone on the jury that was an enemy of his. So he was sitting there with jury members that definitely still liked him, but I think what was lacking on his end was the strategy portion, and I do think that's why Denny ended up winning over Rob. I think Rob played a better social game than Denny, but Denny also had the social, the strategic, and she did well in challenges as well.
Okay,
did Rob get any votes
here
against him?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, did Rob get any votes against him?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, Melissa.
So you're saying that Denny played a really great social game, but yet she was being said, literally by everybody, she was there to her number 1. So how is that not more social than what Rob was doing?
Well, no, I said I thought Rob played a really, really good social game, but was lacking more of the strategic game. But I do think with Denny, if you're looking at how the season went, she had people on her side the whole entire time. There weren't people that were necessarily going to target and vote her off right away. They thought that they were her number 1. So she was able to talk to those people, get them on their side, get them to trust her. But also I do think she had good strategy because she knew when to cut people at the right particular moment.
Well, did you guys see any of the background strategy? Did you guys actually see what? Because the strategic moves, I didn't see too many of them throughout the show. and this is just me from a viewer. I could have missed him. Like, did you guys get to see a lot more of like, okay, this is why we're going this way comparatively to what we saw?
Me personally,
Yeah.
this season I was pretty much a viewer too. Besides being at the challenges, and I told everybody that I was the first season I did everything, right? I did the confessionals, I did the editing. This season it was kind of fun for me because I did the challenges and the tribals, and then I would just watch it at the end. I did not watch a confessional past like the first day. So I didn't know people's strategy. It was kind of fun. I was like, I'm reading the votes. I'm like, oh shit, this person's going. So it was cool. But so I can't really touch up on people's strategy. I know as much as you know, basically.
Okay.
I think okay, so if we're talking about the beginning of the game, the first move that Denny made with flipping over to working with the specialist, it ended up being a huge strategic move for her because no one on the Miami tribe that was part of TRHS thought that she was the person that flipped. And she played that off extremely well. People were speculating other people on that tribe, and her name never came out of anyone's mouth. She played that off flawlessly, which then didn't make her a target from those other TRHS members.
Okay. I get that.
So, I know we were talking about Rob a second ago. Out of the people that played season 1 and 2, Joe, Karen, Rob, Pook, his game from the outside looking in. Of course, I wasn't a part of. I didn't really get to know him in season 1 either because I wasn't on your tribe. But he just seemed like he did so much better in season 2. Just from the outside looking in, his social game and everything. I said he got most improved player.
I'm sorry. I think Rob got most improved player.
That's what I said.
Rob. I thought you said Pook. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Rob. Yeah, Rob.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Pook too.
Oh, no. I just said Pook was the last one.
Oh, okay. I think we all thought you were talking about Pook.
Oh, sorry. No. I thought Rob. I will say in the beginning of the game, I thought Pook was playing better. And then I said this in another video when we were doing our little who won our fantasy league thing. But then the paranoia and everything kind of got the best of him again. But the beginning, I thought he was playing a little more solid. But Rob definitely got most improved player in my eyes.
Yeah. For sure.
With Rob, if we're looking at season 1, he did not make those personal connections with people. He was someone that was just always on the outside looking in, whereas this season he jumped the gun. He made sure that he got in good with people and that he had people that liked him, and I think that really helped him get to the end. But with someone like Pook, he started the game off well, as we've said, but then gets paranoid and he starts wanting to create chaos. I think he could do really well in a game if he just chilled.
Right.
Well, and here's the thing. I'll talk about both points real quick. I've hosted Pook twice. I've played with him 3 times in 3 smaller orgs, and he's Pook. That's like the thing about it is I don't consider him paranoid when I'm playing with him. He's actually very loyal to the people he's with. Very loyal. Like in people, it's like a common misconception that he's some like shady person. Like he's very loyal to people he plays with, but he also, he'll be a little bit of a degenerate if you're not with him, right? And then it gets hard when he gets to the merge because he's usually on the last 2 seasons he's been on the bottom of the numbers, so he gets to the merge and then he's just like, let's just get Pook out. But I think he's overall people portray him worse than he actually is. Now I've never played with him in a long game. It's been minis and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going by.
Yeah,
playing with him in the long game, and then by everyone's confessional this season. By the last couple episodes that he went home, I think everybody's confessional had the words, "I can't wait for Pook to go."
Yeah,
it's just, you know what I mean? So
I
knew
get it.
he was creating something. You know what I mean?
I can tell you why that was too, because what happened was we merged them and then they had 3 days until we did another challenge. And so I think at the beginning, people were willing to work with him, but then he became too much and he was creating all these bits of chaos and paranoia within people. So originally, right when they did merge, he had people that he was able to get on his side. But then by the time they got to day 3, people are like, I'm over it. And so I think that's what hurt him. So if he would have just had those people, remained calm, I think it would have been a different game for him.
Well, speaking of Pook, he submitted a couple questions to me, and I'll go through one here. I thought it was a good question. This is to both you and Ryan, Lauren and Ryan. Would you rather have next season set up to where there is no pre-gaming possible? It seemed to have an effect on this game. So were you happy with the kind of 2 or 3 week pre-gaming and then kind of dropping the bomb on them where you're not going to be in the tribes you think you're going to be in anyway? You like how that went? I thought it was great.
Wait, what was the question? Would you rather? I just heard one option.
So would you rather have next season set up to where there is no pre-gaming possible?
Okay.
It seemed to have an effect on the game. That was his question.
So there's no.
So he just wants to know, should we not have pre-gaming or not?
Is there pre-gaming or no pre-gaming?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we'd rather have it no pregame, and it's just hard, I think, with this type of thing to, and we were hearing all the rumblings before the season started, and it's hard to set it up to get everybody committed. You're not getting paid, you're not winning money to do this without like any sort of notice. So it's kind of hard. So that was the best way we could think of to kind of neutralize the pre-gaming, and make it fair. But obviously,
I thought it was great.
Yeah, obviously, like number one priority would be just like we just pick 20 people out of a hat. They have no idea they're playing out of like hundreds, and but that's unrealistic. So, we do what we can.
I got a couple like behind the scenes questions. So, in the packages that everybody got this year, was that just kind of to make everything as fair as possible, so everybody had the same kind of cards and cups and everything? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, that was something I talked to Denise about, like in between the 2 seasons. It was an idea I pitched. I didn't really think it was realistic.
Why are you laughing so hard, Melissa?
I don't know why she's laughing.
Because you're saying that, and all I can sit there and think of is, you damn people don't have dice? What the hell? Ryan going off on us in the first season.
How did I have water up in my office in the first season? And Ryan's like, you don't have water? I said, no.
For everybody that wasn't involved in season 1, there was a challenge where I needed everybody to have a goddamn bottle of water. And I think 6 people were like, dude, I cannot get a bottle of water in 2 days' notice. Holy shit.
I was one of them.
Yeah. So that was probably around when I pitched the idea of Denise, and huge shout out to Denise because she got all that stuff, made all those packages, sent it out. It was awesome. Like, huge shout out to her. And but yeah, I mean, we put all the same items. We put the rules in, so the idol, the idol that's always hidden and stuff, it was literally in their physical possession, which was cool. And it opens up, if we do that in the future, it opens up more things you could do. So it was a cool thing.
Yeah, and
speaking of idols, who came up with all the the idols thingies?
so I will 100%. Ryan is brilliant with coming up with the idols. The one thing that I came up with was the posters and making that another advantage that we could add for the steal a vote. But Ryan, if another idol got played, he boom, boom, boom was able to come up with the next idol that we needed to put into the game. It was awesome.
And that was the fun part about this. So the first season, right? I gave the idols. I made I forget what it was, but I made the hidden idols in your guys' first rules, and nobody played a goddamn idol the whole game. So it was easy. I didn't have to do anything the whole season except for the merch. And then this season, right now, we've seen idol. And I think I texted Lauren. I'm like, fuck, I gotta hide another idol somehow. And I had nothing. I wasn't sending out tree mails. The first year I'm sending out tree mails, I didn't do that this season. So that would have been easier. I sent out those tree mails to you guys in case idols were played, so I could kind of just add on to them. But then nobody played an idol, so now I had to do it in random messages and try to make it seem not so obvious. It was kind of weird.
Why no tree mail this year? What happened with that? Just
Oh, we did it in the group chat. There was tree mail in the group chat, which then also made people think that they were guessing for an idol because they would read in between the lines on what we were saying, and they would start putting in random guesses, which were hilarious. But yeah, we didn't have tree mail, but in the group chats with whatever the tribe was, I would send in a message about, all right, tribal council tonight, we have a challenge today. And I think, too, we just didn't want people to have any idea what the challenge was going to be. Because in tree mail, you can kind of guess what potentially the challenge is. Now, they came into all of these blind, which is how the care packages were so beneficial because you don't have to say this is the supply that you need for that particular challenge. And if you were looking for another behind-the-scenes thing that we did with a challenge is the one where they were throwing the cards into the solo cups. We asked prior to what people's heights were, so then we made sure that they were standing back further from the cups to make it more fair.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great point, Lauren. That was probably the biggest reason for the care package. Not that everybody couldn't get a deck of cards, more like I didn't have to send a couple hours before, like, hey, you're gonna have ping pong balls in a DVD case, to not make it so obvious. So they really couldn't predict the challenges at all.
Yeah, that was great. Just one more question about the hidden idol. The one where Frank found the steal a vote. I see your posters change your luck. Was your where your name was or something? Where was it at?
Yeah, so we actually had to do it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So we did it in the double tribal council. My name got changed to your because the Miami tribe was sitting in on Nakota, and the posters. So Miami went to tribal first. Then in between, I changed my posters, and my name was changed to your. No one caught it. Frank kind of saw something, and he was thinking it through, but he didn't get the whole picture of it. And then we went to the next challenge, and my name was also changed to your then, and that's when Frank got it right away. The only other person that I'm aware of that even noticed it was Logan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Frank, because we changed it, like you said, the night before, and I think he sent a confessional the next day, being like, I might be crazy, but I feel like her name is Yor, and I don't know. And it was driving him nuts for 24 hours. And then he the next day it's still yours. Okay, change your luck. Boom.
That was great. So here's a second question from Pook. I do not agree with this question, but I will read it. Besides Pook and Denny, who was the best duo in the game, in your opinion?
Lauren, you can start. I'll think about it.
Well, Anthony just said that he disagrees, so I want to know who Anthony thinks.
Well, all right.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
I'll say Frank and Logan, I guess.
Yeah, that's who I said.
Yeah, they were pretty tight the whole way. They kept their word the whole game. And
they went out on their terms.
Yeah, they battled out in Final Four like they wanted. So that's pretty easy to me.
And I think
I gotta agree with that, Frank and Logan.
I think Denny and Pook were a good duo while it lasted, but it didn't last as long as Logan and Frank. Were there any other kind of duos that we didn't get to see? I know people were kind of teamed up here and there, but any long-term ones that we didn't see or no?
It might have been, it's not necessarily a long-term one because it didn't really come to fruition, but I would say McKenna and Phil were definitely a duo in the game. Had Phil caught any wind that McKenna was the potential person going home, he would 100% played the idol for her.
Wait, you just said McKenna and Phil. McKenna just posted McKenna and John. So
she's kidding.
You gotta post that comment.
McKenna and John.
I don't know who to believe now. I have one too in a similar situation. I think Ian and Morgan pretty tight. And they both got, I think they were two of the first three out at the merge or something, but both super smart people. Yeah. And Ian got double idled out, and then Morgan kind of followed soon after. But they if things went their way a little bit, me and Lauren made a fun little bet pre-merge. We voted who would win in our final three, and I picked Ian to win and Morgan in the final three with them, and they literally were two of the next three people voted out. So I know.
Yeah, I had Carrie, Rob, and Logan in the finals with Logan winning. So that was my prediction. Ryan also had Jeremy. So those were
Jeremy my third.
Jeremy was your third.
I was so off. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
I didn't watch anything. I had no idea. I was just based off what I see on their faces when I come to tribal and challenges.
But talking about Ian and Morgan, I agree with you on that, Ryan. I feel as though had they been given the right cards, they could have absolutely run the game together. They're both great strategists, and honestly, in challenges too, they performed very well.
So I think Cameron had a great question on there. Who sent the most and the longest confessionals? Who do you think sent like the most in?
I can't see any of the comments on there.
Hit comments instead of private chat.
There you go.
Where's that at? Don't even get me started. Never mind. It's not worth it.
All right, we'll leave the question up. So here's the question.
Password to Zoom is.
Honestly, I don't know what you think, Ryan, but I would say Frank.
I think we should let McKenna answer because she edited everything and she just said Rob.
Okay, then I'm highly disappointed if Rob sent the most confessionals.
I trust McKenna's answer way more than me.
Wow, Rob. It was Rob.
I gotta say that I'm highly disappointed in that because you know how we did our draft?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rob had like the least amount of confessionals actually put in for being in second place.
Wow.
So like Denny got, I think like 98 points.
90
points. Frank got, was
85.
it 85? And Rob had 53. So he had like almost no confessionals the whole entire thing. So for him.
But when he put them in, they were pretty funny.
Were they? Oh, I would have loved to see more. Especially since we got me more points.
He just rambled.
McKenna has spoken.
What I will say with Rob is Rob would actually text me during his lunch break a confessional, and I would watch it and be like, what is this? I will say he had the funniest confessionals, hands down, of the season. It's not even a competition for me.
Dude, I was laughing when the one with the fingers, I don't remember what it was, like 8 left or something. He's like, so these 2 fingers are this, and these ones, and he was like counting off the alliances on his hands. I was like, that's crazy.
The Brad Culpepper moment.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. I was laughing so hard at that because he's like, and Denny's over here. It was great.
Another logistical question. A couple people work night shift. So how did they do challenges and stuff? Like, did they just do them at their job, or did you do them earlier this season, or what?
No, we did them at 9 mostly. Sometimes we did them more earlier, but I think it was just Frank and Corey. So I mean, like Corey, I don't know Frank as well for when he left, but Corey, I know he didn't leave for work till like 10:30. So like we were all done. I remember one challenge he's messaging us because it took like a half hour to set up, 45 minutes, right? Which you're aware of sometimes. And so we're setting it up, and he's messaging me like, "Hey man, I gotta go for work soon. How long is it gonna take?" And I'm like, dude, the challenge will be 7 minutes. Don't worry, 7 minutes.
I loved it in the first season. You're like, this is going to be a 7-minute challenge.
7 minutes.
Hour later.
I know. Everything was. So did any challenges like that? I know last season, Ryan, I heard you say a couple times that the ping pong ball one on the DVD, like that didn't go how you expected at all. It lasted a lot longer.
Yeah.
Any challenges like that this year that just didn't, that kind of went haywire or longer or crazy, or was everything kind of what you expected?
I would say one that went in the opposite direction than we anticipated, which was the Oreo challenge.
Yeah, it sucked at that.
Yeah, that should have gone a lot longer than it did.
Well, I'll say 2 things to that. So, one, I had a package sent to me, right? So I had the exact same items, So sometimes, like with those items, like it would be easier or harder, and I couldn't really judge it. So, and McKenna getting voted out early, she was a huge help because she would test our challenges. We would send them to her, and she'd test them all. So we'd have her testing me, Lauren, all 3 of us. So like we'd have 3 different perspectives on how to do it the best. Before it was really just me. So like now we had all this help with that. But I think the only challenge that went. It's not like we didn't predict it. What was the first challenge with who was struggling? Ben, Annabelle, on the what they had to balance the cups and roll the dice. The first challenge of the season. So, you guys remember that one?
Ben did so wonderful at.
Yeah. Yes.
Ben never finished it. Annabelle finished it, and Nakota was able to win. But those two were probably by themselves for about 20 minutes, right? Obviously edited down to like 30 seconds or something. But like, so, and I told Lauren beforehand, I told her, I'm like, listen, if we do it like this, how we were setting it up, I'm like, what if one person on each tribe can't physically do it? What if they struggle? So I was like worried about it. I'm like, we literally might have to make a call like, hey, what do we do? This challenge is never going to end. And we're 15 minutes into them struggling, and I'm messaging her. I'm like, Lauren, this is my nightmare.
And I was cracking up, and I just messaged back. I said, I mean, she's getting closer, but Ben was a disaster.
Like, Ben gets one. I'm like, yes, let's go, Ben.
Ben takes one step, and then the cups fall. And I will say with Annabelle, the one time I thought she had it, she was all the way almost done, and then it dropped again, and I just was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so it ended, but I'm sure I'm in the background, like when Annabelle finished, like, yes, thank God, let's go. Like, I didn't care who won, just somebody finish it so we can be okay. But no, I mean, no challenge went like crazy longer than we expected. I think again, having the people, and it was, the season with NSFW was a learning experience, and I think we've learned some things, and we, made the necessary adjustments.
Right. No, all in all, I thought it went. I thought the challenges were great too.
Yeah, the challenges are pretty awesome. You guys did good with the challenges.
Thanks.
Yeah, challenges were a lot of fun. I think we definitely brought in some different components this season, and I laughed at a lot of the challenges, and some people's challenge performances cracked me up.
Right. And you can almost see, and I guess everybody's guilty to it to some extent, some more than others, but like, especially when you're doing a challenge and it's not going well, and then you can kind of see the panic level just kind of rise, and then they just completely, you're like, oh man, it's over with. You know what I mean? And that you just got to kind of get yourself back to that. But I enjoy watching that. It happens to me sometimes.
I think the challenge where the most panic set in with everyone was the card memory challenge, because if you just look how hard everyone is trying to concentrate, and just watching it on the screen was hilarious. But I will say there was definitely a moment that was cut out of that completely.
Was it you?
Was it me? Yes. It was me.
Thank God. I please explain. Go ahead.
So we completely cut out round one of that challenge.
Why? What happened?
You want me to show?
She's like,
This is Lauren. Okay, so we read off the cards, right? And I had all the cards laid out, so I was like gonna make sure they're right. And the first round, she was like, "All right, ready? 8 of hearts, jack of clubs, check, king of spades, ace of diamonds." I'm like, "Holy shit!" We're like, Lauren, nobody's memorizing I don't even know what you just said.
Oh wow!
You completely blacked out and just named 10 cards in 5 seconds.
I mean,
it's insane.
To be fair, some people got it, and then Frank had no idea how the challenge even worked. Rob was confused as hell.
Yeah, there's also those things.
I will say Logan knew exactly what was going on, and Morgan pretty much knew exactly what was going on. So she had to explain it to Frank. Hey, Frank, this is how it works. But he was lost. So, I mean, in the future, if we have that clip, we should show it because it's very funny.
Yeah, well, McKenna, can we pull up some bloopers for that? That was terrible. You probably see my face like.
Apparently, you guys need like a blooper reel and Rob narrating it. So.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, shit.
Yeah, we would have very good bloopers from this season. Lots of funny moments.
I'm sure. So I know there was what do you guys want going forward? I mean, do you guys want? There were couple of people saying it'd be nice to do season 1 against season 2, or another Patreon group, or I mean, obviously,
heroes versus villains.
Yeah, heroes, villains. What guy? If Russell asked for your input, what would you guys think would be the funnest?
Or just another newbie.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I was gonna let you go first.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't have any input on the future, to be honest. I don't know if we're doing those seasons. I don't know if it's coming. I don't know when it's coming, to be honest. We'll see. We're gonna let time tell on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think right now it's just kind of taking a break. We're going into a Big Brother org, and then I think after that we could potentially see something in the works. I know people have ideas on what they would want to see in the future, season 1 versus season 2, another Patreon group, or all newbies. So, and then I've heard also blood versus water could be a potential, but we'll see. I mean, we just want to be able to give what people are looking for. I know a ton of people enjoy being part of these games, and it's a lot of fun.
So how did you guys end up with like the back-to-back-to-back things? Like I heard that there was, I think Ben, when we interviewed Ben's exit for him, he was saying like you guys went from challenge to tribal or tribal to challenge like immediately. How did that work without giving them time to actually talk to each other?
So that was kind of in like the planning preseason that we were going to do some doubles in a night, like a lot of doubles in a night.
Uh-huh.
Just to try to make, because we had to have more off days because of we knew a lot, like me and Lauren, we couldn't be there every night. So we tried to we had to take 3 days off, Labor Day weekend, all that stuff. But we never did challenge then tribal. If we did a double, it was a tribal and then 20 minutes later a challenge. So they'd always had a day after a challenge if there was a tribal, unless there was like a twist with the social game with like 6 left. But like besides that, it was never like early in the game, challenge, tribal, 20 minutes later. We never did that.
Okay.
Yeah, they always had time to go and strategize before tribal council. And I know we heard in Denny's confessional in particular where she is kind of right. If you're going from a tribal council where it could be very heated with what happens depending on what the vote was, and then going into a challenge, that is super complicated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got to switch gears real fast. I can understand that.
Yeah, but Phil and Jeremy went. So Pook said, but Phil and Jeremy went back to back. They went back to back just because that tribal, like nobody had time to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, that's the only one where they didn't have any time to talk, but that was pre-planned with what we wanted to do. We were not going to let them talk before that vote off.
And you guys didn't allow texting and stuff. Sorry, texting and stuff at tribal, right? There was none of that allowed.
Nope.
Nope.
And I think that
now, if it happened, it happened. Obviously, it's like an honor system. I can't be at everybody's house, but it was a rule that they're not allowed to.
No, I just seen a big eye roll there, so I wanted to know what that was about.
I don't think it happened because here's why. I think when I watched back through season 1, you could easily tell when people were messaging each other throughout tribal council. And with this one, everyone always seemed to be looking at the camera. So I don't feel as though anyone tried to message anyone because in season 1, it was so obvious if you were talking to somebody.
Right. Yeah, it's good. Make it a little more kind of realistic. I like in old Survivor when they didn't do much talking during tribal council anyway. Everybody whispers every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So
did we miss any like really big conflicts? Like in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, in our season, it seemed like we had no problem calling each other out. I mean, I straight up called Anthony an asshole. They were calling Chris names. Chris was flipping people off during games. I mean, we were like all over calling Ashley bitch. I mean, it was just all over the place. So was any of that actually happening? Because everybody seemed really like, oh, they're a lovely person. So did we miss any of that?
Again, you saw what I saw. I mean,
Did you see?
I know why she's asking. We got points for fights and I think there was only one fight that we registered as points.
No, there was none.
There was Denny versus Phil. Denny versus Phil.
I didn't see a Denny versus Phil fight. I didn't
that was
see it.
pretty intense after the one challenge. But anyway, yeah, but they're all calling it Denny versus Phil. But anyway, so
the only one we registered was Frank against somebody. I forget.
Yeah, see, Frank and Denny. I remember them like going kind of out of it at tribal, but not Denny and Phil.
Oh, Denny and Phil definitely happened. And I can tell you
whatever challenge was that we had people sit out 8 or 9, like if you wanted to sit out for a chance of an advantage, after that challenge, people were getting out, and Denny and Phil were the last 2 to leave, and we left in the episode. And they just started attacking. Denny was going at him, calling each other sheep or something. bunch of sheep in this game or something. She was so pissed at him.
Okay.
But I mean, other than that, again, I see what you guys see. The only thing I see that you don't see is the Ponderosa group chat that I was in.
Oh yeah,
it probably got the most more intense than last season. People were fucking. I think some people muted that chat and left it because they were hating everybody.
that was crazier than season 1's Ponderosa. Oh my goodness! Every time someone got voted off, and then they would jump on a Zoom call, and then you would just see messages. That was crazy. I thought our Ponderosa group chat was insane. It does not compare. I wish we had footage of that. If we had footage of them jumping on the Zoom calls and what they were talking about, I think it would have been gold.
At our Ponderosa, the only one that was upset at me that let him know was Matt. When I got voted out, he was really mad that I voted him out, which was kind of weird, but
In our Ponderosa, I was trying to poke the bear on everybody. I was antagonizing anybody that came on there. So.
Right. It's part of the fun.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that that's where people get real bitter. It's like when everybody just gets voted out, they're all pissed.
Yeah.
I'm at Ponderosa and Real Survivor. They only show all the good stuff, probably. They're like,
I know.
They probably have like a steel cage match room that's not even on video. Go at it.
The most intense I've seen on Real Survivor was One World, where Kat and I forget the light-skinned girl's name. When she came, they were going at it with each other. That was so good.
Wow, I never watched a lot of Ponderosa. That's crazy.
Well, we're past a half hour here, so we were going to keep it about a half an hour. Again, we thought it was a great season. Thank Ryan and Lauren.
I have one other question for Ryan.
Yep.
Who are you losing to your fantasy football to today?
Which team?
You know which one I'm talking about.
Let me check real quick. Oh, I'm up 5 points.
You are not up 5 points.
Check it right now.
You are not up 5 points, liar.
Check it right now.
Actually, before we go, I do have one question for everyone here. It's the same.
She's checking
From
it.
this season, who do you think deserves another chance to play the game again? Or that you would like to see play again?
Well, wait, my hypothetical question got derailed. Oh, no, we're not answering that one. So
Which one?
I can't get into hypotheticals.
What
We don't know if another season's going to happen.
Oh.
No, we didn't derail it. We're just not giving away information.
Man, you asked Jeff Probst what's the next season. He's not telling you unless he tells
us every time at the end of the finale.
Hey, we can't give
I
away
knew that would be the
information.
comeback, but that's not what I meant.
I just asked in your opinion what you guys would want. I didn't ask you what was happening.
I want
Okay,
Anthony
all right.
versus Melissa.
Out of this
draft their own
season, who I
tribe.
think deserves another shot, I would say probably 4 or 5 people.
Okay,
I think.
list them. I want to know.
List them. Well, you always got to give your winner another shot, in my opinion, because they won for a reason. Frank, Logan, Rob, Corey, I think all played really, really well. I would also like to see, if I had a couple more, another shot with McKenna and John. I think
There's only 20 players. How many?
I know. This is my hypothetical answer. So that would be my list.
Okay.
Out of everybody on season 2, can we only pick one?
Well, Anthony just picked like 7, so.
Okay, well, I'm only going to pick one. I mean, it doesn't mean that there wouldn't be others that I want to see, but my biggest one that I'd love to see come back would be John.
Why John? I got to know.
Because I just want to see if he actually kills somebody or not.
It's crazy.
Yeah, his blind side was crazy. Okay, so
I
in
can't
your
understand
opinion,
if his
Lauren, who
reaction
would
or
you-
Annabelle's reaction was like he was stunned and Annabelle was just shocked. Those were 2 big blindsides for sure.
So just as a player looking in, Lauren, who would you like to see come back if you weren't hosting, if you were playing against them?
I would like to actually see Morgan play again.
Yeah, she seemed pretty good. I'd like to see her play again. She seems smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's smart. She's good in challenges, and I also don't think we got to see her full strategic game. She's definitely someone that I think could make a run very far into a game. So she's the person I would pick to see play again.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think my list is way too big. Everyone, I agree with all of them.
Just have
There's a lot of people I would like to see play, but if I have to just pick one, I would say Morgan.
All right, you're up, Ryan.
All right, I'm gonna pick an underrated person here, but based on what the fans might want, imagine if Andrew would have gone further in the game. His
He was great.
professionals
He
were
was so
funny
funny.
as hell, and I'm telling you what. Now, as a host, we didn't see that. So we hosted him, and granted, like when we set up the challenges pre-merge, I was always with Nakota. She was always with Naomi. So I didn't interact with them as much. That was the advantage of having Lauren here. Like we would just each set them up so it would be half the time. Because, in season 1, I had to go to each tribe, right? Set them both up. So now we both just set them up, boom. No, so I didn't interact with him. But when I watched the season, I'm like, this guy's got a personality. He's pretty funny. And I didn't see that in the challenge. He was very quiet during everything. So I don't know, man. I would have loved to see him go further and see where that character would have kind of built up to, man.
Yeah, his confessionals were pretty funny. I will say that.
It was surprising to me as hosting the whole season. I didn't freaking see it once, so it was like kind of.
I look forward to his confessionals too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because in the breakout room with him, setting up for a challenge of like, what is this guy doing? Every time that I will say, being in the breakout room with that Miami tribe, hot mess all the way around. They had no idea what their game plan was, and I just don't think they put the people in the right spots for some of those challenges. But it was hysterical to watch, and Andrew was clueless.
Lauren, I got a question. Do you think Miami's struggles had anything to do with you setting them up and the was me setting them up? I don't want to take credit, but they kept winning.
I think you were intimidating them, Lauren, a little bit.
Probably. She's probably yelling at them all.
What the hell are you guys doing, you damn idiots?
All right, Lauren, I got one more question for you. All right.
Yeah.
And I don't want I demand an answer.
You demand an answer.
Yes. Okay. So you've played a season and you've hosted a season. I know you enjoy both. I get it. So if they asked you straight up, you want to host the next one or play in the next one? What are you doing?
Do I know what the season is, or it's just like I have
Just whatever season's next.
100% host.
Wow. Okay.
100% host, whatever would be the season next. I would say hands down, I would pick hosting for sure. I enjoyed it more than I ever thought I would. Melissa even told me that she likes hosting more than playing as well.
And who do you have to thank for hosting?
I do thank you for that. And I appreciate Ryan bringing me on board for it. It was a great experience, and at the end of the day, I would choose hosting for sure, hands down. It wouldn't be an option. However, maybe in the future, if there is an all-star season and I was in contention to be on it, that would be a different story.
Nice. Ryan,
How about
would you ever
Ryan?
play
You ever
along?
going to play in any of these long ones on here?
Probably not.
It would almost be weird to see you not as the host now. You're kind of like, honestly, you're the Jeff Probst of the Patreon group. Really? I mean, that's.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure someone could fill in for you, but if
Like
you wanted
Lauren.
to really play, but you guys make a good team.
You can't replace Ryan. You can't.
Pook is volunteering to host with you, Ryan.
Pook, you might have to host with Lauren.
No, you can't replace the OG probes. You can't.
All right, Ryan, out of one more question. Out of season 1, out of the final 4, which was,
Robbie, Amber,
Ashley,
and
Devin,
Our boy Devin.
Yeah.
Devin. Who would you like to see come back if they had an All-Stars out of the Final Four? If you can only pick one.
You mean besides my sister-in-law, Ashley?
Yeah. Oh.
No, honestly, I'd pick Robbie. I love the dude, and I actually picked him as my fan favorite in that season when we had the vote. You know, I thought
well, that was a bad decision. But anyway,
I should have picked Anthony. I know. My finger slipped. I was going to Anthony and fucking scroll all the way down to Robbie. It was crazy.
No, Robbie's great.
You just kept scrolling.
Yeah, it was like A to R. It was like, what the hell? Anyway, but no, yeah, Robbie is super smart. I knew that. Like, he was the minute, like, he found that one advantage I hid in the rules, and as soon as he did that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I thought I was hiding these good. And then I'm like, as the season went on, I'm like, okay, they are kind of hitting good. He was just like a genius on day one. But, yeah, he's a super smart guy. He's cool, too. He made good videos. He obviously has the guts to make fun moves like he did at the Final Four. So, right. I mean, he would have won if he won that challenge, and maybe even if he just went there straight up. So,
yeah.
I still say if he went there straight up, I think he would have won.
I think he would have won too.
Did we do that? Did we do that at the reunion? Did we?
I don't know if we did, but if we did it right now,
if we did it right now, all three of us would have voted for Robbie.
Yeah, I would have. All three of us voted for Robbie. So,
like if it was Robbie, like Ashley and Amber.
I wouldn't have cared if it was Robbie, Ashley, Amber, Devin. Which one? It would have been Robbie. I would have chose Robbie over all three of them.
Yeah, I mean Robbie and Amber, they were both my squad. You know that, but I would.
No, I would love to see Robbie. I think Robbie would play. Will play again for sure.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot then. Who from NSFW would you want to see play again?
Are you asking me again?
Yes.
From NSFW? All right. Well, definitely not. What were those girls' names? Lauren and Melissa, definitely not.
I don't know. I thought Melissa did some
I want to say the other female, Karen. I love Karen so much. God, but I'm not going to. She's played a couple times already with the mini too. All right. From NSFW. Oh, what am I sitting here for? Lee.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lee.
No, it's not even a question.
I don't know what took me so long. Man, he's a smart kid, man.
Yep.
He is.
I hope he gets on the real thing someday, honestly.
I do too.
Lee is absolutely a character out of everybody. His character that he brings is just amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
I still say though too, lump Melissa in there as well, because if she put in confessionals about the particular behind the scenes moves that she did in the game, it was great.
Well, and that's I was thinking about this earlier while we had these four here. You know, we got Melissa and Anthony, complete opposites based on the edit of the season. We got the most vocal dude, Anthony, and then we got Melissa, who was on maybe one or two confessionals all season, but quietly known as one of the better players that played. And I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like I gave you a bad edit. You didn't send me anything. No, it's like I'm hearing this after the season, like, oh my God, you should have seen what Melissa did at this tribal. I'm like, what are you talking about? How did I know about this? And then obviously I know everything Anthony's doing. He sent me consistent confessionals. He's vocal as shit, talking shit the whole time. So, it's very opposite of people I have here. They're both great players in season one for sure, man. So
yeah, Denise wrote me after one of the tribals, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, me and Ryan were just talking, and they were talking about you the whole entire tribal, saying the moves you were making, this was what you were doing," and we were like, "Melissa."
Yeah.
The tequila shot night, that was funny.
Yes.
Melissa finally spoke. Wasted as hell. Melissa was like, here's my thing.
No, when Matt got voted out, and then when you read the votes, Melissa just goes, cheers.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That does show you how important confessionals are, though.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
nobody
none of you really knew what the edit or see, like, you didn't know how cool it would be. I understand not sending confessionals when you're not even sure if they're for anything. So
yeah, I will say I think the three of us played all completely different games.
Yes.
Yeah.
In season
Lauren, I forgot you played when I was mentioning them.
Oh, you forgot?
She lasted the longest
people at tribal councils.
What's that?
You forgot that I went off on people at tribal councils.
I know.
No, he just remembers the 3:00 messages of, I think the idol is this. I think the idol is this.
Yeah,
I was
that was
laughing.
crazy.
Talk about confessionals. Last season, I was laughing at yours the most, Lauren, of your guesses with the your guesses for hidden immunity idol. Oh my God, that was so funny.
The blindfolded thing. I'll
great.
never
That was
forget
great.
in my life. I'll never forget her messaging me before she did that, saying, "Ryan, I figured it out. I need to be blind and send you a confession. I'm doing it now." I'm like, I read that. I'm like, what? So I watched her. It's like, I can't see you. I know you can see me. I'm confessing for the idol, please. Holy shit.
And then it was nothing. I heard nothing back. And then he sends me, oh, that's going in the episode.
Yeah, that's around in the episode.
Hey, you got to try everything. I was willing to try everything. I did not care.
I love it.
All right, so it looks like we've almost gone an hour, and I think somebody was saying that somebody has to go on at 8:30 or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, was it 8:30? Okay.
I don't know. But we're good.
Fuck them.
Melissa has tequila. Fuck them.
Well, my Eagles are about to play. We're about to beat Dallas, so I got to get off anyway.
Yeah,
Love
good luck with that.
Yeah, I hope the Eagles win because I can't stand Dallas.
I'm going to Dallas next weekend for the Steelers Dallas game. Can't
Well,
wait.
that's a win for you guys.
I know we're going to be 8-0, right?
Well, anyway,
All right.
like I was saying before, it was a great season. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Ryan, for all your work. It seems like thank you, Lauren, more for your work because Ryan wasn't there too often, except for no, I'm joking. No, you guys did a great job.
True.
It is very entertaining, and you guys stepped it up again. So we appreciate it. It was a great season.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. And again, thank McKenna and Denise for the work they did.
Oh yes, yep,
100%.
Absolutely.
All the behind the scenes
Great
work.
Yes,
Great job.
yes.
And I'll end it with this too. We are going to do interviews with the final 3 players from the season. I don't know the dates and times for that, but those will be posted on the games page when we do those. But other than that, this was an absolute blast. I'm glad all 4 of us were able to come together and do this. And thanks so much, everyone.
Great. Talk to you guys later.
Night.
All right. See you guys.